Good morning, folks. Morning. Into Wednesday, and we've got a couple options on our weekly model starting to play out. Hopefully, some of you had a great day yesterday once we got off stream. Market continued to create liquidity to get up higher. Its job yesterday was to try and drive higher. Okay, and it's possible. It is possible we do the same today. We're currently in an inside bar. So let's go to the daily, have a little chat about where we're at. All right, as you can see, yesterday, excess beneath Bollinger Band. All right, never got that close beneath the Bollinger Band. And if you want to split hairs, you could say we closed, like 10 points or something beneath it. But you see how the market does not like to close beneath that daily Bollinger Band. We went over it yesterday, right at the start. It doesn't like to do it. So what does the market want to do? Ultimately, it wants to clean these up. All right. Ultimately, it wants to find a way of getting down here to clean these up. But we know that the market doesn't just move straight down. Now, yes, in the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days, we have moved straight down. And it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. It's possible we continue to go straight down. But it's unlikely. We know the market likes to move in waves, doesn't it? So what is definitely possible today is a drive back up to maybe test the 5-day, maybe test the 20-day, maybe come into some of these daily imbalances. We can think about a fib from the high to the low. This 50% starts lining up pretty well with a daily imbalance. We can think about all these things. So it is possible today that the market looks to get some relief up here somewhere. And at this point, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week, in here, all right, shorts will look to try and set that lower high on the daily, because that would be the first lower high. Remember, this is our count. 1, 2. That would be your pullback leg. If they can set a lower high, they're looking for a break of structure, and then they can get that cleanup of liquidity. That would be the easiest play today if the market offers something like that. The question is, how do we get there? That's always the question. How do we get there? So let's have a little look at the hourly, see if we can find any clues in the chart. All right, so yesterday, here's your excess at the lows, tapping into this demand down here. It did leave some daily levels that it can clean up. All right, and we drove higher, back tested the Asia London low, pulled back, created here a nice flag, and drifted higher overnight. Okay, overnight coming in to do what? Back test. So I'm going to sneeze here. If it's going to come. Maybe I've called it out and it will go away now. Back testing these lows. All right, so we think about structure. This is how the market is currently moving. And now we're starting to build liquidity in here. So we have a few options here. We went over this yesterday. We've back tested this anchored view up. So I'm going to get rid of this first anchor, if it's going to let me. No, not that one. The anchor where sellers came in. There we go. All right, so possibilities today. If it's able to build liquidity out here or even in here somewhere, all right, then it's able to try and do this move for a drift higher into here, all right, above here. That is where it wants to go if it can get there, all right? If we can build enough liquidity for that drift higher, if enough shorts are trapped near the lows, it can do it. We don't really want to buy high on this hourly, all right? We don't really want to buy high. So really we're looking to see, does it hold this old point of control? We have a little gap up here, all right? Does it come back, fill that gap to previous day close? Build liquidity here, drive higher, maybe build a little bit more in here, and then we get that inverted head and shoulders type look. And it's at that point that we can maybe get a continuation long. So maybe from here, maybe adds here for a drift up here to take out 460s, 450s, and into this imbalance. It's also possible that we just rotate all day. We can produce an inside bar all day. That is possible, and you have to be aware of the news catalyst coming today. There is some news that I'm going to go over, but more importantly, there's Nvidia earnings tonight. That's what everyone's going to be looking for. This can be also a giant bear flag, all right? A giant bear flag and an attempt to go lower, all right? So if they do this and they attempt to go lower, obviously you do not want to be short down here. This is a problem, all right? So if they're going to do this move and start breaking down under here, maybe there's a short to be had. We flip this into supply. and we look for covers here and runners into the big daily levels below. All right, these are all possible things playing out. The longs today will be counter trend. They can get aggressive. Right, these longs could be aggressive today if we start pivoting up and holding. We can start to attack. There's lots of key levels above that it can attack today and tomorrow. Again, really, we're in an inside bar right now, so you have to be aware of that. Moving up to the 5 minutes so we can look at what we've done overnight, okay, into this chart here. You can see I've got an anchored VWAP off the lows, which we're holding. This blue box, really, for me, is just an afternoon pullback, all right? These levels in here at sort of 230 and 345, this was your breakout level, retest, retest, retest. We've retested it 3 times, right? We know buyers are trying to hold that. So if we dip into there today, put a bullish structure and hold it, possible for a rotation back up to London high. That would also mean that we've cleared out the Asia low. If we come all the way down here, we've cleared out the Asia low and a rotation play is possible. If we start failing the afternoon pullback, all right, so the plays would be this. If we fail this afternoon pullback, then we're going to get that drift down to retest the lows. And then we re-look at things up here because, like we said, we've got supply overhead. So if we use liquidity, then we can think about a continuation trade for a counter trend up. So those are pretty much what I'm looking at today. There's lots of options on the table today. That's just how it is. When we're building that counter trend leg, we don't know quite where it's going to stop. It's possible that it stops right here already and just goes back down lower. It is possible, but I think it's probably more probable that we do something like this or this and try and take these guys out first. But hey, market's going to do what the market's going to do. Let's have a quick look across the board. Have a look. What have we got on the VIX here? I haven't even looked at the VIX yet today. All right, VIX gapping down underneath the previous day close, but I'm going to remind you it's still hanging around over, move that screen, over Friday's highs. All right, so still basing over Friday's highs, still basing over 19. Very, very strong look there for the VIX. If VIX can drive higher, it's going to have to take out 2130s. Any failure today from VIX at the level it's at now or at 2016, it can produce a lower high, and then it can start washing down towards 1760s and lower. That obviously will give confidence for that counter trend long up for that little squeeze out play. Looking at the SPY and QQQ, they're very, very similar right now. They're just balancing between. SPY looks a little bit more bullish to me. I'm going to be honest. It's building that inverted head and shoulder very, very nicely up here right now. So I'm sort of say if it can drive up, it would need to take out 598.20s. That will open the door for a move to 602 on the SPY. So just cleaning up some of these charts. Let's have a look at the MAG very quickly. Oh, Apple gapping down. So weakness there coming to previous day low. Microsoft holding inside yesterday's range, holding above previous day close. What have we got here? Amazon with a gap up, starting to give back, tagged its 50-day by the looks of it, but it's also trying to build that inverted head and shoulders look. Google trading inside yesterday's range. Microsoft here with a bit, Meta with a bit of a drive up and gap up, reclaiming previous day low. So let's see if it can hold on to that. Nvidia started driving back up yesterday in the after hours, holding that level currently in the pre-market, tagging into previous day high. Remember, Nvidia earnings tonight, that's what everyone's going to be looking at. Tesla remains weak. All right, it's tried to drive up again pre-market, coming back towards previous day close. If it can hold previous day close, previous day low, it's got a chance to try and reprice up to sort of 324-ish, but right now it doesn't look too hot. So a little bit of a mixed bag here as well as we go through the Mag 7. So nothing super, super clear. I am going to be patient today, very, very patient today, because I know how close we are to ranges. I also know that the ATRs are quite big. Here's your Asia London high. We're already drifted 100 points off that in the last, half an hour or so. Well, maybe hour now. All right, so I'm going to be very, very aware of our ATR today. It can start to increase. But if we dip down into, let's say, this anchor VWAP, previous day point of control, we're going to get rid of this old VWAP, or into this blue box, and we show a willingness to hold, it can be like this, or it can just be like this, then I'm going to think about a long rotation back up. If we show weakness, if we just keep slamming down here and reject previous day close, then I'm going to look for that short back down towards previous day low and hold runners. If we just instantly drive up at the open, it's going to be quite hard to just grab some. But if we can put bullish structure in here, right, then I'm going to look for that rotation to previous day high up here, or the previous day high, I should say. So basically where we opened from yesterday, right here, I'm going to look to trade up into there to take out those stops and then see what's what. So longs today will be counter trend, but they are very, very possible to start setting up today. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone. Remember, those anchored VWAPs off those pivots on the hourlies might come in very, very useful today. You can see they've been holding us down so far, and you can also have one off the low, which we have on the low time frame. I haven't put it on the hourly, but right here off the low. All right, so this is our sort of range in the hourly. Once we make a decision outside of this range or inside this range and hold, we can do something else. All right, we can think about the next leg and the next move. But definitely got some relief overnight. The traders which are having the most fun right now are swing traders who took the longs that we took yesterday and held and maybe added to their position overnight, and probably just looking for that back test, which we finally got at 8:30 a.m. this morning into these levels. Remember, this is where we broke down from yesterday, so this is the back test. This can be a continuation lower if it wants to do it. All right, let's go through chat. Make sure everyone's okay here. Good morning, Clint, Miguel, Ramos, Jesse, Jeff, BU, Christy, Exister, Tracy Jones, Glenn, TR, JD Florida Man, Dopamine XL, Marek, Thumper, Exister, Vince, Leron, Indicator, Michael Pope, Peter, Curry, welcome back, my friend, Mr. Slim, Jack, Hudkins, Minix, Andrew G, and Making It Happen. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So hopefully you're prepped for today. I'm not going to be trading it right out the gate here. All right. I don't think there's a trade out the gate here, which I love. I want to see us come and either test up here or down here, or maybe even just here, and make a decision. All right. Once we make a decision, I'll have a bit more idea of what this market might want to do. Going to just have a quick peep at the M15, M5 here. Starting to break down on the M15 for sure. M5 the same, starting to leave some imbalances to the downside since sort of 8:30 this morning, but we're coming back into those key levels right now. How long have we got here? 1 minute until the open. We got through that pretty quick this morning. Did any of you get a trade overnight? Were any of you long overnight for that retest of the key level that we broke down from yesterday? I know, Peter, you trade a bit earlier being in Europe. Maybe you took something overnight. Having a quick look on the book here. We do have buyers down at that 21K again. All right, so right down here again. That'd be a sweep of that sort of these levels here. That'd be a sweep of that if we get down into that, which is possible. Definitely lots of stops down there, but let's just see. I'm not in a hurry to trade out the gate. I think there will be some nice trades from today into the end of the week. Once we can see what this weekly model wants to do, are we going to expand lower on the weekly clean up or not? So here we go into the open market, now open. Ding, 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 ding. Drifting back down towards previous day point of control. Remember, a gap fill will be down here, folks. All right, that would be the gap fill if we're going to drift all the way down into that. Cleaning up some of my charts here. There we go. Like I said, nice and patient this morning, not in a huge rush to take a trade. We just traded into the close on the futures there, not on the ETFs yet. Getting close. Very nice, Peter. Yeah, very nice. So here we go. Coming into previous day. Anchor VWAP off the low and previous date point of control here. Remember, the gap fill is down here. So we are in a sell so far this morning. Like I said, it looked bearish on the M15 since sort of 8:30. But let's see how we react now that we've gone to point of control. Remember, this is where all the volume is and that anchored VWAP off the low yesterday. This is where buyers will want to hold from here and down beneath. Pretty big reaction off that straight out the gate. I'd love to see us close the gap. I'd love to see us trade into here and close the gap and then see what's what. That's what I'd like to see. Not looking for the short into that. I just want to see what happens when we get there. A big reaction off that point of control so far. Let's have a look at the mag. Tesla gapping up 1/3%. Nvidia up almost 4%. All right, up almost 4%. That thing is on a ripper. Meta 0.80% up. Google 1/3% down. Amazon 1% up here. Microsoft 0.75% down, and Apple over 1% down. So there's a battle here right now. But Nvidia, the big one today, like we talked about, it's got earnings tonight. You will see some hedging on that today, especially into close. If you are going to trade the Qs into close, you must be careful. That thing will start whipsawing into the close and then the first 10-15 minutes afterwards as well. Lots of money to be made there and lots of money to be lost there. It can be very irrational. So that's what the market will be looking at. Still waiting here to see if we can close that gap. Not in any shorts, not in anything like that. Current range in that opening 1 minute created a 48.5 point range, right? Big opening candle there in the first 1 minute. Just waiting here. Nvidia starting to give some of this back now, about 1% down since I last talked about it. Just being patient here. Let's see what we get. Mr. Slim, I waited for London but went to sleep. I don't know what time zone you're in, but you're in America. I don't blame you. Definitely one of the advantages. I think Asia and London's been pretty nice recently. It's a slower market, but it's been a nice read recently. So we're back down, all right, coming back down to retest previous day, point of control, anchored VWAP off the low. That's your blue line. Remember, the gap fill is beneath, right? We have closed the futures gap. If you look at the daily on the futures, we sort of closed it at 5 o'clock. But really, we want to see us move into here if we're going to close the gap truly. SPY a little weaker this morning by the looks of it. Again, that's trying to close the gap as well. So most of the market trying to get down to close the gap. The question is, can it do it? I'm not looking for a short here because I know these are areas which buyers have come in the last few days. We said we've got that big buyer down at 21,000. Plenty of time ahead, right? You don't need to be clicking buttons right now. If there's not a setup that you like, you don't need to click the buttons. You will require patience on days like today. All right, we are in an inside day. Remember the last 1, 2, 3 days, right? Monday, Tuesday, and Friday last week, we created outside days. We started breaking outside the previous day's range. Today, we are opening up, gapping up inside range. Typically, those are choppier days, all right? Typically, those are choppier days because you don't have breakout traders in the market. Yeah, ES hasn't quite done it. You're right there, Mr. Slim's got a little bit longer to go, but it's not far away. 77, 75s for that Asia lows. We've taken them in the NQ, and we're still dancing around. I still think there is a chance here for it to do a gap fill, so I'm just waiting to see if they're going to let this go for a bit of a gap fill down and then see what's what. I'm not trading this to the short side, just waiting to see how we react once we get down there. So far, just a strong trend down off that supply, off that first test of supply, which happened pre-market up here. All right. There's your first failure. Pull back into VWAP, pull back into flow zones, and starting to trade down into here. But the best shorts were up here, which is why I'm not currently looking for a short down here. I know it sounds weird, but if we start breaking down and letting go, then I'm going to be more inclined to take a short and down here. But I think bulls might come in today at some point. Still think this wants to drift lower. ES still not taking out Asia yet. Getting close though. But it's building out liquidity to get down there if it can. And then we will see. We will see what is what. We know this is a big level. You've got the anchored view up. You've got the previous day point of control. This is a big level here where we are now. It can hold this. This would technically be the top of that afternoon pullback if we think about this. Right, think about this yesterday. But really, we want to see, can it drift into here? Maybe even sweep these guys. So either protect them, maybe even sweep them and do something like that. And if it stays heavy, then we rotate back to the low. All right, so these guys here are pretty key. We know 1, 2, 3 times yesterday, bulls came in and held that intraday. We know it's a key level. We're just waiting right now to see if we can get down there. No trades for me yet. 7 minutes into the day, nothing yet. Just waiting. Remember, we're trading inside. We're currently inside overnight range. We're inside daily range. We're inside previous day. Reaction there then. So driving back up towards the flow zones now. Possibly going to expand this daily range in the New York session. It's back towards the highs. So protecting that anchored view up and previous day point of control. Never closing that gap. All the way to view up here. Wow. All right, so like I said, I felt like bulls would come in. I'd like a drift lower first before they come in, really. Closing the gap and being very efficient would be ideal. Maybe sweeping those afternoon lows and turning around would be ideal. But back into view up here. Oh, what's he forgotten to do? He does it every day. Forgets to do it, doesn't he? Where's the New York Open? And there is the drive higher then. So back, not giving much of a setup here. I guess you could have argued a squeeze here, but it would be pretty early in the session to be looking for something like that. I would really wanted this to happen down here. All right, that's where I wanted this to happen. So back to view up, ES back to view up as well. SPY back to view up and QQQ. So everything in tandem right now. Nvidia found a bid there. That's what's definitely driving this. Nvidia definitely found a bid there, back up to 3.5% up on the day. Remember, it was about 3.8%, and then it dropped down to like 2.3% up and found a bid. We also have news today. I've got to remember that. I think it's 10 o'clock. Let me go back up and see. New home sales, 10 o'clock. And then Bostic speaking again. God, that guy loves to talk at midday at lunchtime, so I'll be out of the market by then. Market looking pretty bullish here if it can hold on to gains. Remember, these are the levels that we just failed from in the pre-market, though. All right, so we're tagging back into that London low and view up right now. But this is aggressively trying to drive higher right now. Market not in tandem. And Apple's almost 2% down. So that's the big loser on the day so far. Everything else pretty much green. Google 0.5% down, but Apple dragging the market down. Can we find bids here? I'd like to see a pullback and a hold. Like, I don't really want to try and buy this for a drive higher when we've got supply above. I would really like, if we're going to do this, we're going to need a pullback and a hold. Build some liquidity to think about going up with flow zones, protecting it, and then partials into here, and then runners and ads above if it allows so. But right now, we are still in a range. I'm going to remind you that. Same, Peter. Yep, same. Didn't chase it. I'm flat. Haven't touched anything. Exactly the same. Wanted a little bit lower into this afternoon pullback area and previous day close. So, wanted this down into here. Something like this, like we talked about at the beginning of the stream. Hasn't come yet. Can still come. It can still come. But if they're going to hold this imbalance, which they just shot up from, it has a chance to drive higher. You know, that H1 is looking pretty bullish right now. If we flick over to that H1, pretty bullish, isn't it? Into anchored view up, sweeping all these guys, holding. If this is going to set a higher low, it's going to try and attack these right now up here. So want to find a way of getting involved in this. Well, would have preferred it lower. Same thesis, would have preferred it lower. Can still do it. Can still come down. Still very early in the day, remember, team. Very, very early in the day. We're starting to fail VWAP here. Can it build liquidity for that sort of inverse head and shoulder bull flag type look to drive higher, or is this just going to fail and rotate? Was that a little squeeze out and a rotation? Maybe go close the gap. I don't know, which is why I'm not in anything right now. I've got to let it build out here. SPY back to its VWAP. So a little divergence here. SPY is back testing the VWAP, as in is above it and is seeing if it's going to hold. NQ, QQQ, ES all beneath their VWAPs. We're coming back towards that New York Open level as well. All right, so this was the open right here. Got to put this on my NinjaTrader chart now as well. So coming back, filling this imbalance. If bulls don't step in here, then this is just a squeeze out, and then maybe we get that move all the way down to here. If bulls protect this, then it's got this move. If we fail this, then this move becomes more and more probable. If that was just a squeeze out, it's probable. Remember, we're back testing now, back towards previous day point of control and VWAP. So, oh, it's tempting now to sort of chase this lower, to be honest, but I'm not going to do it. And we're going to break down here. Previous day point of control and VWAP again. These are big, big levels. You can see we're just rotating back and forth off these levels right now. So another little bounce here. Do they sell this down again here? Or does this go all the way back up again? You know, both these things are possible right now. We're just trading in a range. Feels like it wants to fill that gap to me now. Feels like it's getting ready to fill that gap, but I don't want to chase this. This is a pretty big aggressive moves. That last candle, 48, about 50 points. So like I said at the beginning of the stream, watch your ATR. Look at that volume that came in that last candle. Back to a very, very key level here. Very, very key level here. Are we going to go for that gap fill? Dancing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you'd need to see this fail, New York Open, for it to do a potential gap fill. If it reclaims this imbalance or BPR, whatever you want to call it, then we go back upside. Very, very, like, doing a lot of dancing right now. Like I said, when we print inside bars, all right, when we're inside bars and inside range, we expect chop. We have no breakout traders in the market right now. All right, we expect chop when we do that. Across the board, where's the VIX at? VIX failing previous day close here as well. Coming back up for its third test on the day in the VIX. Yeah, same Peter. I'd love to see it close the gap for many reasons. I think it sets up better trades both ways if it can close that gap. If it can't close that gap, it's going to feel a bit iffy, isn't it? Where are those buyers hanging out? Doesn't feel me with confidence right now for a trading day, but let's see. Apple now 2% down. Google now 1% down. Rest of the market still green. Still think there's a potential bear flag and gap fill down here into 150s. It's a potential move if it can do it. I'm watching this very, very carefully here. If it keeps holding, though, that demand level down here, all bets are off. You know, they can turn this very, very quickly. Oh, on the wrong chart for you. Sorry, guys. Still no trades, just sitting and waiting. We start to reclaim VWAP and printing above here, we open this up. If we reject these levels, there's a gap fill potential. This is very choppy. We're just dancing in this range right now. This is your range in New York with a mixed bag on the market. Remember, you got news coming at 10 o'clock. They are trying to get this bear flag and sort of micro head and shoulder look. They're trying to get this move for the gap fill. That's what they want to do, but it's being unwilling to let go of the anchored VWAP and point of control. Remember, this is where all the buyer's volume is from yesterday's lows, right? That's their average price. Totally, Peter. That's exactly it. If it can't close that gap, we chop around. Maybe shorts get trapped trying to force the gap fill, and it opens up a drift higher. All these things very, very possible right now. Is what happens when you get inside bars, and definitely Asia London had the easiest move, that drift higher into supply. That was a very, very easy move. It's what we were taking long yesterday, and they basically just able to hold on to it, weren't they? So feels like some shorts might be getting trapped here. It's holding its gains. Google trying to find a bit of a bid here, but still inside range. That's all we are right now. We're just inside range, inside the opening range. So far, we're 27 minutes into the day, 85-point range, chopping back and forth, no clear direction. Yep, definitely chopped so far. Definitely chopped so far. No doubt about it. So back to VWAP here. So if it can hold here, it opens up this move, which is what it's now attempting to do. Right to the IB, well, current IB high, holding VWAP, finding some sellers there. So very, very, very choppy right now. Just got to wait here. This thing does not know what it wants to do. It's totally confused right now. Cannot be forcing a way into this. I just have to be very patient. Let it do whatever it is it needs to do. Just bang on VWAP right now. It really doesn't know what to do with itself. So you just got to let it be. If it wants to drift all the way up to those highs, what would that be a trade to if it's going to clean out the highs? 330s or something? It's possible we can do it. Totally, Peter. Yeah, that's totally it. It's why we're saying you must have patience today. We've just got to wait, let it do what it needs to do. I kind of expect it to come and pop out through sort of 73, 75, expand the range, and then, you know, it can turn around very, very quickly if it wants to there. But if it wants to keep drifting all the way up to those highs, it's possible to do that also. There we go. So pop in those stops here. How far can this go? SPY looking very, very strong. It really wants to get going after this sort of W set. It will need to sort of, it can clean these out and it needs to do a base and then for a drift all the way up into here. It's a shame we didn't get this first before it does this, but this is starting to look more bullish if it can hold. You need to be careful. If it comes straight back inside this range, then anything is possible. So still a buyer down at 21,000. The buyer at 150 has lifted his bid and moved up towards 200. So he's looking to get filled now towards 200. This was a clear out of the current day high. Now trading back to VWAP. Like I said, if they let this go, don't be surprised if it comes all the way down. So far, we're bullish, but if they let it go, it can wash deeper. Cannot be forcing your way into this market right now. What I would say is we did clear out the Asia lows. If we want to clear out the London highs or that sort of seek and destroy look or what would you call it, a megaphone kind of look, it can start doing it. Oh, hourly still looks very good. Hourly still looks good. On the hourly, to me, if we're going to hold this dip and drive all the way up to 333s or whatever it is, and then look for the anchor view up, it looks possible. That last dip down on the hourly came right into demand, right into here, and we're soaking back off it, trying to reclaim overnight point of control. We can build this through here and into here. It is possible today. This is what we were looking for. We just would have rather it came down here to do it first. But we will take whatever this market gives us. So looking to see how this acts now through 300s. I've got a little bit on there starting to absorb on the view up. So in from 64s here, looking to see how high we can get. Looking good. Beautiful. Can we keep going all the way up? I'm like, part of me is like, just hold this all day, leave this little one on all day, because it feels like it just wants to go on a little ripper now. Feel like shorts might have got caught down here looking for that gap fill, which didn't come. And this move here feels very probable right now. But I need to respect supply. I've just got a little one guy on. If this starts to fail, I'll just take him off. Lock in. All right, taking some off there. Even if this holds, I'll just lock in there. It's just a one lot. Tiny little trade to start the day, and we will go from there. So let's just let this build out now. Still inside range. All right, so your range on the session is still supply and demand. All right, like we said, I think in Discord we talked about it. If it wants to trade sideways all day, it can. If we can get above this and hold, we open up a trade into here. And that would be a very, very nice trade. If we do a failed breakout, we open up this trade. If we get failure under here, we open up this trade. If we do a failed breakout here, we open up this trade. There is lots to play for. I know you're like, why is there so many today? It's because we have an inside bar, right? When we have an inside bar, we're going to search for liquidity each side. That is why today is not like a straight, we're going straight up kind of play. I'd like to see this drive higher. On the daily, it makes sense for us to drive higher, but it would have been much better if we closed that gap first. The hourly's looking very, very good. You have got 5 minutes left until we get a new H1 bar here and an H4 bar, and we have news as well as a reminder. All right, but we are starting to base now above this level. I'm going to feel stupid for taking that off. I have that feeling we're just going to go absolutely turbo here in a minute. Market trying to pick up steam, but this is back in towards where we found some sellers overnight, and it's not just overnight. Make sure you're looking left here. All right, so this is the pattern so far. This can be a higher low to get back into this. This is what it's starting to look like. I might regret taking this little guy off. Right, we're getting close to a new H1 bar. Feels like it just wants to clean out those H1 highs to me, the top of that red box. That's where it's trying to go. It's just trying to push higher and higher and higher and higher right now. Take out 21 330s or whatever it is. That's what it feels like. But tapping into the red box right now, into supply. ES did just take out those highs. All right, so you have slight divergence there. ES just took out the Asia or Asia London Globex, whatever you want to call it. ES did just take it all out. NQ not there yet. So if we get S&T there, or divergence, be careful. SPY coming right up towards previous day high. NQ's gone a long, long way to go to get anywhere near that. TR, I go over this all the time. The gap is the cash gap. It's the cash gap. All right. There's a video on it. It is a cash gap that I consider closing the gap. So on the ETFs, I don't care about the anything else other than the ETFs when it comes to gaps. And they didn't close the gap because this yellow line down here is the gap. All right, so some divergence there. Always looking at the cash gaps. The ETFs, honestly, they matter. Think about where most traders are positioning themselves, whether it be options or in the ETFs or even in the futures. They're positioning themselves in the New York session, right? So I care about that. 9:30 open, 4 o'clock close, always. News coming 3 minutes. News coming in 3 minutes. We can go all the way back down if it really wants to. Just remember that. So definite some divergence there at the highs for sure. One swept, the other didn't, and here we go all the way back down. Back down to current overnight point of control here. So the tricky thing with NQ today, it's got unfinished business both sides right now. Unfinished business lower, unfinished business higher. ES has cleaned up the highs. Back to VWAP. Do you know what? I might put an anchor on from the open. It will probably be about the same space. So can NQ go and clean up those highs? It feels like it should come and take out 21,333.50 or whatever it is at those highs. But the question is, can it do it? And can it do it before the news? All right, are you doing the course, TR? I can't remember. If you're doing the course, I go over it in there. If not, there is a free video on YouTube. All right. I've put a free video on YouTube that will explain everything in detail better than I can while I'm trying to trade. All right, but it's all there, my friend, and it will make sense. It will make sense to you. Here we go. So it's trying to clean out these highs. That's what it wants to do right now. It's desperate to go and clean out these highs. Cannot get going here. It wants to come up here. I really want to get back involved in this, but the problem is this news, and with news we can do, we know we can do that. So not looking to execute a position 20 seconds before news, even though I think that draw is to come and clean those guys out. No, you're not disrupting the flow. Sorry, mate, you're not at all. It's just really hard for me to teach that gap fill while I'm doing this. If the market cools off today, then I'll go through it for you on here. Here we go. Here is the new H4, H1 bar then. News hitting the wire now. Failure to take out the highs still. Still think it wants to drift higher and take out these highs, but it hasn't done it. Still holding those dips there. SPY took out previous day high. All right, SPY took out previous day high. We've not done it on any other market right now. I still think this wants to drive higher. All right, this telling me it wants to drive higher. It's just, can it get up towards those highs that we keep talking about, the 330s or whatever they are? At the moment, it's not able to find a bid to drive up there. It wants to get up there. It's just not able to do it yet. And if it can't get up there soon, then buyers are going to get trapped. So it needs to squeeze out and go soon. Otherwise, what's going to happen is buyers are going to keep buying in this red box, and we're going to get a rotation down back towards those lows. So it's having one more attempt here. Cleaned out the short-term high. Still hasn't got up there. ES looking stronger here if it can find and hold a bid. Yeah, it's trying. It's definitely trying, Peter. It is definitely trying. Like I said, you've got to be careful here because if they find too many buyers trying to absorb it and it can't move, average price overnight now 270s. It's got to get going and gets going soon, in my opinion, to get up there. It really has. It's got to get going soon. Otherwise, what you're going to get is this build of liquidity and buyers get trapped here and then it can sweep it and then come back for it. So it's either got to do it now or it's opening up this move down for a sweep because all the buyers will get stuck up towards the top side of the range. Make sure I'm on the right chart. Yeah. Let's do this dark green before I forget. So it needs to get up into here. All right, remember, ES has already done this. In fact, ES has already taken out, or SPY has already taken out this level. That's the divergence right now. We're trying to get up here, and SPY has already done it. Big, big difference. Yep, that's exactly it. So it's having one more attempt here. You can see it's 1 minute bars trying to build and hold. We have a slight imbalance on this bar here, which it's trying to hold dips versus this to get above. But the fact that this cleaned up and didn't get the squeeze there is a little bit concerning. And can we get going here? Holding flow zones, can we get going here? All of the mag looking good now other than Apple. Everything green other than Apple. Here we go. So it's are you going to go? You're going to go, you're going to go. Hamas will release the bodies of 4 Israel hostages. I just see that hitting the wire. Here it goes then. Here it goes then. Go on. Off you go. Off to the races. Don't you snap back. Start moving your butt. Start moving that butt. Let's go. Let's go. Off to the races. Go and take out that high, please. Come on. Stop pulling back inside. Every time it's up here, it's finding sellers up here so far. That is worrying. I would like to just see it pop straight through. Selling here on the tape into 350. We should get up into 350 then. We shouldn't be struggling where we're struggling now. If they're selling up here into 350, we should get going through these levels. Yes, coming into one of my algo lines here, I would say. This is looking bad now, I would say. This is not nice. It might come and trade out some of these guys soon. As I said, it's getting stuck here. I'm out of this position now. Flat on this and just wait. Remember, the big difference is ES has taken out previous day high. It's not good when one has done it and the other hasn't. So it's going to offer a problem here if it can't get through soon. So what I'm going to wait for now is either that dip down and hold or a break above and hold above to go, or a dip down into here and a hold. What I don't want to do is get trapped in here. This is just asking for issues. You can see it's had 3 attempts here. 1, 2, 3. They're all failing so far. It needs to just come and take all this liquidity out. And once it takes that out, if it can hold a bid there, we can look for a rotation up to the next level all the way up here. But right now, it's really, really struggling to do much at all. And here goes the ES starting to back test, so starting to sell down. So that high time frame algo there got tagged on the ES. So it's now trading between lower time frame and high time frame algo on the ES. Again, the divergence. ES is basically trading against this guy here above this level here. Big, big divergence. Apple's slowing this market down right now for sure. Here we go then. So starting to clean out some of these buyers. Failed to get to the top. See some bank news with OpenAI. What is this? M5 looks a bit of a mess. It needs to hold above, I'd say 65-ish. Trading into overnight point of control now. M15 also a bit of a mess here. No closure above that imbalance on the M15. Coming back to test that last key level. It's just a messy chart. We're back into chop again here. Failure to deliver above the London high. Back into chop again here. If this wants to wash all the way down now after trapping buys, it's possible to do it. So I'm just hands off. Let this shakeout do whatever it wants to do. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like you can't force the trade. If it doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to go. You can't make it go. It's just the market. It's just how it is. If it scoops up enough here and goes back for it, we can think about it again. But it hasn't really cleaned out that many buys here. Only some. But back to view up, holding view up. Maybe you might want to clear these guys out first at 61s. Let's see. Maybe just building liquidity both sides. VIX underneath previous day low. If it continues to reject that, we can move higher in this market. Having another attempt here off the view up. It's now the time. Is now the time. Here we go. Oh, market, if you're going to go, just bloody do it. Cannot make its mind up. Again, I don't want to trade in this red box. I don't want to trade here. I'll trade above it. Or I'll think about a dip beneath it and a trade back inside. What I don't want to do is execute a trade here. So I'm hoping it just drives up and holds for me to then think about an add. I know you're going to be like, you're buying higher, but I'm buying once I know stops are out and that we can rotate. Right now, I do not want to get chopped up. All right, do not want to get chopped up. Market being a tease, yeah. Well, inside bars, we expect some chop. We expect chop on inside bars. The hourly still looks good here, all right? Keep referring back to the higher time frame. The hourly still looks good. All right, this big dip. This is what we've got in the hourly so far. So here's yesterday. Come on, let me draw. Drive down, push, hold. There's the set of the higher low. Drive higher. There's the confirmation. All right, remember this is RBS. We should come and take these guys out. If we take these guys out, there's a potential squeeze up here at that point. If it goes without me at that point, there's not a lot I can do. If this goes straight up in clearing these, there's not a lot I can do. I need this to hold to do this move here. It wants to take out these, the top of this red box. All right, it wants to take out all these stops. Look how many stops are here. 1 set, 2 set, 3 set of stops. It wants to take these guys out. Did I just leave you on the wrong chart? Yes, I did. Fantastic. Well done, Alex. Yeah, go or get off the pot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Totally, Peter. And you know what it's like? If it won't do it, then it needs to build liquidity. If it can't do it, it's a lack of liquidity because we need to get up there by shorts being caught off guard, right? Rather than genuine buying here. We're counter trend, so we need shorts to start covering their positions. Right, shorts have been in the money the last 3 days. We need shorts to cover their positions. That will get us up to that next level. Take out those swing short stops, and that would get us up to the next level. If they're not covering and too many buyers get trapped here, we know what happens. Right, if intraday buyers get trapped here looking for that play up that we're looking for, then it becomes problematic. So still, that higher time frame algo level on the ES still becoming an issue right now. You see what I mean? This algo level, all right? This is The market likes to trade between the lower time frame and the higher time frame algo when it's building liquidity. All right, so we're at this level. ES can go for previous day high. SPY has already taken it out. All right, so you have the like divergence there in the market. So of course you're going to do that. Let's reload this. All right, there we go. So again, not buying this red box here. If it keeps failing, it can come back down to here and close the gap. Remember, we haven't efficiently closed the gap. The bullish move would be much better if we'd closed that gap, or even better if we'd swept the afternoon pullback lows before going. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It can. My bias is still for it to go higher, but it's becoming increasingly hard to join this. ES now starting to go. Are we going to start to go here? So if you're in this, there's your partial. Bang. You just took out the high. Partial now out, please. And now you wait. Now you wait to see what's next. Yeah, finally took it out. Only just took it out though, didn't it? Only just took it out. So now I'm waiting to see if we can break above. I want to see a push above and a pull back in and a hold. If we're just going to sweep, then it's going to be a problem. ES getting very close to previous day high here. 615, 616, 616 is your level on the ES. So unfortunately, I wasn't in this long for that final move. Just had to be cautious there. But you guys got it. All right, so it took out those highs, you can see. Just about by like a tick or two or a point or two. You should have got a partial into that move. And now you're holding runners. If we get expansion, we're coming all the way up here. All right, if we get expansion, we're coming all the way up here. So ideally, it does this. Something like this or this. Still no clear break above for me to trade yet. Peter Curry in it and partial taken. Nice work, my friend. Nice work. I'm just waiting for a little more confirmation. It's looking good, though. That last M1 candle holding this RBS level. Remember, this is where resistance was. We couldn't get through, came through, held. Maybe we can do a little bit more confirmation for me to feel a bit more confident about getting in this long. Remember, I've had a couple attempts today. I've already locked in some decent money. I really think we can get going here in the day. There is a chance to trade upside into the hourly imbalance, right? What I'm going to remind you is higher time frame. We have this anchored VWAP, all right? This is off the sell from Monday, right? From the high of Monday, this anchored VWAP here. This is where we're trading into right now, or very, very close, 346. In that as well, you have an hourly imbalance, right? This was a kill candle that we put in yesterday at the open, I think it was. So we're trading in to reprice this. I've got to be careful trading in here. This is going to get more and more dangerous for me as we start to drift upside. So I need something really clear, lower time frame for me to join this. ES getting very close to that previous day high now. ES a great trader again today. How many times do I say that? ES is a better trader than NQ. I feel like I say it every bloody day at the moment. So there's an 80 lot on the tape here at 350. Are you still trying to get filled? That would take you way, way through where we are now. That would definitely take out previous day high. SPY coming into its 50-day. All right, SPY trading into its 50-day moving average right now. And we're getting very, very close to that anchored VWAP on the hourly that we talked about from Monday's sell. All right, so we're back testing the hourly VWAP. So right now we're trading between Tuesday's low, anchored VWAP, and Friday's high, Monday's high, anchored VWAP. Right? Seller's average price, buyer's average price. Hopefully that makes sense. How good are anchored VWAPs? How good was that anchored VWAP? And it lined up perfectly with point of control today. So once you understand where volume is, this guy right here held up. We would have loved it to dip down in there, but volume decided it was going to take over the reins today. Look at NQ. God, I can't get my words out. Sorry, team. VIX failing miserably right now. All right, coming all the way back down into those 1820s. It can trade all the way down into 1750 or so today. If it keeps trading down into the low 17s, we are going to keep going higher in this market. We are going to keep going higher in the market if it keeps doing that. ES really wants to come and take out previous day high here. It's very, very close. You've got a point or two to go here on the ES. So if you're in this, you've done better than me. Congratulations, team. I had like 2 or 3 stabs at it. Here we go. So here's a better clean out. ES very close to that previous day high. I would be very careful if ES takes previous day high and fails here. So there's your tag of previous day high. I want to see this expand, pullback, and base. I want expansion, pullback, and base. If it just expands without me, then, you know, no trade for me, unfortunately, if it does that. So ES takes previous day high, trading back downside, only by a point. So let's just see what it does here. You're looking good, team. Please make sure you're paying yourself. If you've not paid yourself when we've cleaned this liquidity, you are going to ask for trouble. All right, make sure you pay yourself. There's nothing to stop this coming all the way back down very sharply if it wants to. If its objective is just to get to here, it can trade back downside. So make sure you pay yourself and hold runners for this move. We are printing above this RBS level here at 16s. Market looking good here. Again, Apple the only one down. I'll give you a little read on the market. Apple 1% down, Microsoft 1.808% up, Amazon 2.11% up, Google 0.33% up, Meta 3.1% up, Nvidia 3.25% up, Tesla 0.5% up. The market is looking good. This rebound day that we talked about, the drive higher today, possibly tomorrow, looks good. It is now looking like it's going to expand. Oh, you gotta love it. Your thesis is right and you can't get involved. You have a couple cracks at it and you can't get involved. I mean, I shouldn't complain. I'm actually up pretty decent money here, so shouldn't complain too much. What did I say when I took this? I can't remember that first dip I took this morning here. So I probably should just hold this all day. I got a feeling this would be a 200-point trade today if I held on to it. I've just got that feeling. It's one of those days where I probably had the best entry on the day. Yeah, it looks good now, Peter. Volume stepping in now as well. So I want a pullback and a hold now. I want a pullback and a hold of that London level. Oh, God, you're not going to let me in, are you? We're going to go straight up here. Ah! Mr. Slim. It's all right. I'm not in it yet either. The day is young, my friend. The day is young. We're 50 minutes into the session. Don't worry too much. Yes, taking out its key levels now. Need a pullback. I need a pullback and a firm up. All right, and not just a pullback. I'm not just going to buy this on a dip. I need it to show me it's going to hold. Because we've taken out some big levels now. Phone just start blowing up here. What's going on? Yeah, Mr. Slim, yeah. I mean, we're in that 1 hour gap. We're right at the anchored VWAP like we talked about. Remember, this can set a lower high at any point it wants, but I've got a funny feeling here that shorts are going to be a little caught off guard. Really need it to pull back into anywhere from, well, really those highs, 330s, 322s. If it has to go all the way down to 315, it's not ideal, but it's possible. That's what I'm looking for. Some pullback inside and some kind of bullish structure to be built out at that point. So we're in a steep drive up here. Get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is draw a fresh one on. This is really what I want it to hold. It needs to come back and hold that. If it needs to dip down here, it will. That's the only problem. Oh, it's so aggressive. It is so aggressive. It is in a hurry to get up there right now. Trying to see if there's any sellers on the tape drifting higher for it. Not much, really. This is full squeeze mode now. Like I said, I've missed my opportunity. If you're in this team, congratulations. I am definitely not going to chase this up here now. Definitely not going to chase it up here. So we had the right thesis this morning, looking for that buy, for that drive higher. And I had a couple of attempts. We made some good money. Couple of attempts, but this made it really hard, and eventually I didn't grab this, unfortunately, and I was looking for a return into the go, and it hasn't given it yet. So if you're in this, you're looking good. Right, just keep holding, because if this can drift up, it's going to try and take out previous day high and the higher time frame supply up here. And you're through that anchor now at 350s. I can show you on the higher time frame. We're through this anchor. We're repricing this H1, so be holding runners. If you can get into 391s, if you squeeze through that, you've got all these stops up here. Look how many stops are up here into 450s. A lot of stops up there into 450s. Once we get up there, a reminder what we're thinking about high time frame. A reminder, why are we thinking about this? Because the market doesn't move straight down. So we're finding a bid off the lower Bollinger Band. We're expecting some form of retrace, maybe into this daily bar. That might be tomorrow, 5-day, 20-day, and then the set for the lower high to then come and take these guys out, because by that time the lower Bollinger Band has drifted down, so it allows space for us to get down into here. Right, so from a thesis point of view, it makes sense. So this might be a one-day pullback, it might be a couple of days and then they slam it, it might be that they never slam it and we reclaim the whole thing. All those things are possible, but this move today made sense to me. Made sense to me to do this move today. And for my team in Discord, we were, remember this yesterday afternoon, where does the market want to trade back into? Remember when we said it pivoted? Its aim is to trade back into this. If we can get through this, we trade up to this level. All right, so everyone in Discord yesterday, same things we were looking at yesterday afternoon. We've achieved target 1, target 2 would be here, and target 3 would be here. So if I was swing long here yesterday, I'd have taken partial, partial, and partial up here. So there's the failure. That's why I say I'm not chasing up there. We've fulfilled obligations. ES trading back inside after taking previous day high. These are key levels now, but momentum. Look at the volume coming in. Look at the imbalances left. I'm not just going to dip by this. Like I said, I need a bullish pattern or a bullish pattern, something to encourage me to get in rather than just a straight dip. Hopefully that makes sense, team. We called it well. I think you guys probably got more than I did. All right, I'm up $1,025 on this session, and that's it. So hit me with W's in chat if you took this. Hopefully some of you got it. I know, Peter, it doesn't want to let me in. I know it doesn't. It's okay. It's okay. There's a market developing today, tomorrow, the next day. Nothing missed. It is what it is. It's okay. It's okay. And try never to think about it as a miss. I'm not going to punish myself for not taking that. Maybe I could have taken this here when that volume stepped in here. Maybe I could have tried to grab some of that, but I would have been marketing in and I would have ended up getting up there. So I'm not too annoyed with myself. Remember, if this starts failing, we've got this liquidity built up here. If it starts failing here, it can come back and fill this gap if it wants. Remember, I said it's left liquidity both sides. I'm not saying it has to do that. More likely it wants to get up here, but if it starts failing, there is potential still for a gap fill. Right, back to these key levels that we talked about. So watching this closely. Let's see who got winners today then. So obviously Peter smashed that with a winner. Tyson, with the W. Vince, Ryan Keogh, Leron up $623. Nice work. Christy with the W. Marek, Stephen, Kat, Crawford up 1,315. Peter, W, and just shy of 4K for the day. Hey, lovely work. Lovely, lovely work. Jeff with a small W. So it's the same folks. I say this every day. It's the folks that are turning up day in, day out. It's the folks that are in the Discord, that have done the course, who know what they're doing, who are making money every single day. All right, like I said, I'm not always going to get everything. Today is a good example of that. Most of you in chat probably made more money than I did on this move. I missed the best part of the move, unfortunately. But I'm not going to kick myself because I stuck to my personal rules. But you all took that trade. You should congratulate yourselves. You're the one clicking the buttons, understanding what the market's trying to do. Nick with the W as well. Mr. Slim up 643 on an eval. Break even on funded. Hey, that's all right. Building your evals. Nothing wrong with that. So we've got to see now. Remember, we've put in some imbalances here on an M1. This was clearly key, right? After we took it, this is clearly key here. So if we're going to reprice and do this, maybe there's an opportunity. Maybe I could dip this, but I mean, it's still high risk right now. I want to see momentum come back in. We're going to set that initial balance, remember, in just over 2 minutes. So right now, this is seeming like the IB high. So unless it expands that, where do we go? VWAP up. If we fail that, where do we go? IB low. If we fail IB low, where do we go? We probably close the gap. And then what can we have? Failed auction, trade back inside. This can be a range rotation day. We did talk about this can easily be a range rotation day between these. Very, very easily. Failure to hold this high here. So like I said, not just going to buy it on a dip down. I needed to see bullish structure. We can come and clean out all of this down here, like I said. So being patient here, sticking to my rules, not chasing anything. No need to chase this as we trade back down towards that New York Open now. Is that the right spot? Yeah, it is. Okay. Thought I got that wrong for a second. I might just have a little look at is... Yeah, anchored view up off that low pivot. Interesting. It's possible we hold here, but momentum's pretty heavy. Yeah, quite right, Peter. I didn't even see that. Only 45 likes. Smash that like button on stream for me, please, people. You guys are making good money. Reward me with some likes. Let's get them up. At least half of you haven't smashed that like button. Let's get those up. I want to be cautious if this turns into a range rotation day. This is looking pretty heavy here now. Remember, objective for ES was taken. It cleared out previous day high. If the only objective for NQ was to go and rebalance the H1, then we have done it. All right, so remember, we are expecting a lower high to be put in at some point. We talked about it. It could be here. It could have drifted up here and done it. These would be daily lower highs. If it starts snapping here, blue level. If we trade under blue, back down towards the lows. So all the way back to VWAP. You can see why I don't chase and don't play against the momentum. Once that momentum came in, the strong sell, I wasn't interested. So what did we just say? Likely from the IB high back down to VWAP. All right, it was likely that that was the IB high on the session. And we came all the way back down. We've left lots of stops here. All right, underneath VWAP, there's a ton of stops here right now, so I'm not really interested in trading this right now. It might want to fail and take these guys out. If it reclaims and holds, that's fine. But again, if it leaves the liquidity, I've got a nasty habit of doing that the last few sessions in NQ. If it leaves that liquidity, want to be careful. Oh, Tesla was a big sell there. I didn't see that. I just looked at the mag. So Tesla went from green to almost 2% down. Google has gone red on the session now as well, but it's just flirting with its open close. Tim J, me passing on the long because it didn't match your setup was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, that is just time on the charts. It's like it's the same as if you were here the other day. Sometimes I don't take plays, even though I know they're good plays. I think yesterday I was talking about a short, which lots of people took for the sweep of the IB low to take out some liquidity, but it went against my personal reasons for taking it because we were underneath the lower Bollinger Band, even though I said it was high probability and that other people could take it. For me personally, it wasn't a trade. Exactly, Peter. IB set. So I will always stick to my game plan because I know if I stick to my game plan, I win about 76% of the time. It's when I trade outside of my rules where I can get myself in trouble. And I'm extra fussy on stream. I'm going to be honest. I'm extra fussy on stream, which is a good thing because I feel responsible for all of you. So I'll always say, this can happen, but I'm not taking it. Right, so you can trade your own book. But SPY back to its 50 days, still getting stuck at that higher time frame algo on the SPY. It does not like that higher time frame algo trading between them right now. So the question is here, do we set a lower high? Was this the set of a lower high on the higher time frame? Right, or is this just a pullback to get back up here and go higher now? We're already starting to reprice this. This is already starting to look bullish. But can it reject here to go lower? What I don't like is we've left those stops on the lower time frame at 62s again. Now, NQ has got a nasty habit of doing that over and over again right now. Look at this hourly. It's expanded through, filled a lot of that gap. I'll take this red block off so I can see it a bit better. Filled most of that gap, didn't quite make it to the top, and is trading back inside the range. It still can build out here, but it can also rotate back down. But we know buyers are here, and we know really sellers are here, right? Everything above that was a bit frothy. All right, that was a squeeze. That's why you guys made money on that shove back up. So we're waiting now to see lower time frame. Does this try and set a lower high, lower time frame, or are we just going to go all the way back up here? Again, we've left that liquidity, which is not ideal. I would have liked us to have taken this out before we thought about, if I'm going to think about longs, I would have rather we did this. Is what's happening now is we're starting to build the possibility of this using this liquidity one way or another. If I was bullish, I'd want us to sweep it and turn inside. If I'm bearish, if we start to build liquidity here, I'd be really, really cautious. Again, flow zone's kind of flat, VWAP kind of flat. We've got the lower time frame algo. Everything's fairly condensed here. I'm not in a rush to trade this. I've made some okay money, not great money, okay money. But I'm just going to stick to my rules right now. It will become nice and clear. I don't want to get caught. Saradi P, that was a deep pullback. Got caught at the 315s. You got caught at 315s. So you were long here. Yeah, it didn't hold that level. So it was hard to take a trade there. That's why I didn't execute. Like I was like, maybe you could take it, but there was nothing to prove itself. Remember, I like buying when we're moving upside. I'm not really often trying to buy dips, especially when the high time frame narrative is a downtrend. Remember, daily right now is in a downtrend. So dips will pay better when we're in a nice uptrend because you're more aligned with the higher time frame then. What's up, Unimar? Hey, Blake. Yeah, okay, money is good money. Even if it's red day, it's fine if I'm sticking to my process. I don't care. Do I see Nvidia to the upside? Let's have a quick look. I haven't really looked at the chart too much. Remember, it's earnings today. I do like that Nvidia took this low. Mate, that is an absolute gamble right now. It's in no man's land. It's got tons of stops up here. And it also has these guys here to clean up. So, and I don't like where it's positioned between this. This is like 50% between here and here. It's an absolute gamble. That is a market maker's dream on the options chain. I bet they're having all kinds of fun. I bet they are having all kinds of fun right now. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bet on that right now. It would need to reprice this, get up into here and do that, and that's going to take multiple amounts of days. It looks good intraday, that's for sure. Okay, market's starting to reprice, going back towards those highs. So now starting to potentially squeeze those shorts. Can still set a lower high here on the lower time frame. ES is still beneath previous day high. I'm just watching. SPY is still stuck at the 50-day and the higher time frame algo. Lots of key levels here, but the SPY is based above previous day high. We haven't taken out previous day high yet on the NQ. We are just in a 184-point range. It's decent size range. We are in range rotation. Yeah, Nvidia will make a huge impact tonight. So here's the squeeze. It's trying to squeeze. NQ would like to just go on a bit of a ripper here, but will the market allow it? You know, Tesla red and Apple red. Remember, range rotation, technically, we're not bullish until we get above here. This can just rotate like we rotated from here to here. We can rotate again from here to here. We can rotate from here to here. Feels like they're just going to let this through. Probably missed opportunity there while I was talking, but I'm not sure I would have taken that anyway. We're in a liquidity build. Look in the top left. We're in a liquidity building stage in the higher time frame. Higher time frame, we're building liquidity between this red line and this blue line right now. This is the liquidity building stage of the market. You can tell that also from the inside bars. How does a squeeze happen? Yeah, exactly what you said. It's when one side is stuck. All right, it's when one side is stuck. So if shorts have come in here and then they've added late here, maybe in that dip beneath VWAP, looking for a rotation down, all right, and we start to drift higher, they are forced to buy back the market. When you close your short position, you are buying. So then we buy back. If they get stopped out here, they buy back. Short stops are here. If they get stopped out here, they buy back. So this here, right, was where all the shorts were overnight. So once we got here, we made them cover. We made them buy back the market and drift higher. We are in mega liquidity building. I am not touching this right now. Not touching it right now. Let me have a look at the M5 and M15, trying to just make sure I'm focused on some higher time frames here. Nothing looking that pretty for me right now. I'm just going to leave it alone. Yeah, exactly. It can be short chasing downside. All right, let's go. Yesterday's a really good example. Okay, so yesterday, Blake, we went on a big sell. All right, big sell. All right, and we got to here. What happened at this point is anyone who didn't get in here, they're like, oh, I really want to sell this. I really want to sell this. So we get this push higher and we set this head and shoulders. And this was the point yesterday. I was like, you can take a short here, but you must cover here. All right, because it's at this point you get a failed auction underneath the initial balance low. If they're going to fail the auction, that's where they're going to fail it. So instead of them taking shorts here or taking shorts here like we did and covering here, what happens is they take breakout shorts. Remember, most traders are breakout traders. So they take a breakout short. They short underneath low of day. And their stop is probably up here and maybe here a bit. So we trade upside. The first lot of stops here start covering. Look how we go straight up into the next lot of stops, straight up through them. So these guys cover. Then we pull back, and anyone who was short and who was not disciplined enough to stop out here has the option of stopping out at a cheaper price here. All right, maybe break even. Once they do that, they buy back the market and we go again. Yeah. Shorts here, get blown out, we go again. All right, so it's always about that. And it's the same the other way around. It's the same thing the other way around when you get buyers chasing the market at highs, all right, and we trade back inside the range, they get forced to sell. And then when we come and retest that level, they get break even and they sell. And that's all the market's doing each time. So when it's building liquidity and searching for it, it's building shorts and longs into the market on multiple time frames, and then it's abusing their levels. Right, there's a reason today why I was very disciplined at this level here. I said to you, it will probably squeeze once it gets above that. I missed my entry. You want to be you don't want to buy there, all right, because it can fail breakout really. You want to be buying these levels here. Unfortunately, the build of this liquidity was ugly. If we built a nicer flag here, we could have got in and held. I did not buy here. You heard me say I'm not buying up here. It can very, very easily fail. This would have needed to hold this level and convinced me that all these shorts are now getting break even for a re-squeeze up. It didn't do that and it drifted lower. And it's still got buyers stops down here it can aim for right now. How do I know that's the buyer stops? Look how many times we pulled back into VWAP. Here, 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 here. This was an RBS level. All right, so now if it wants to, it doesn't have to. If it wants to, it can clean these guys out the market before drifting higher. It's a little bit messy today for me to like really want to pull the trigger on anything. Oh, I'm on the wrong. That whole thing was on the wrong time frame, right? Did I not show you that whole thing? Jesus. Sometimes it'd be good if you guys could just shout at me. Let's do that again. All right, yesterday, big old sell. IBL. Push back up, sell the lower high is a good sell. Sell here, dangerous, but still a good sell. Breakout shorts come in underneath IBL. They get trapped here, right? So breakout shorts get trapped at the lows. Most people are breakout traders. They get trapped at the lows, right? Remember, yesterday, if you were with me on stream, I said, I'm not taking this, but you can take this short here for the breakdown as long as you cover some position into here. You do not want to be adding at the lows. That's a dangerous spot. Here's your failed auction. Where's shorts pain? Here, here, and here. So we trade up, first lot, stop out. Second lot, stop out, straight squeeze. Third lot, stop out, straight squeeze. Right, then buyers try and chase up here when the best buys were down here. We took this buy yesterday. And then you have to wait for a pullback. Pullback comes into where shorts pain was. They get out break even here. The shorts here who didn't stop out, the people who are ill-disciplined, they get out break even here, buying back the market. We drift upside. Does that make sense? It's the same thing over and over and over again. Same here. Buyers chase the market here. Right? We've already done a huge move. Buyers chase the market because they didn't take this buy, didn't take this buy, didn't take this buy, didn't take this buy, ill-discipline. We're going to go to new highs and buy in this market. Trade straight down inside. There's their stop. Trades back to their stop. Failure. Right? That's all the market is doing. It's going from stop level to stop level. All right? Sometimes it'll overrun that stop level. Where does big size like to get in? Big size likes to get in the stop level. If I'm a trader who's got to get a 1,000 lot buy-in, let's say my job is to buy 1,000 lots today. If we can get here, right, when all these traders who are buyers stop out, let's say there's 250, 250, 250, 250, just to make it easy maths. When they stop out, right, they sell between them 1,000 lots. So a smart money can buy 1,000 lot back, pairing off the market without even being seen, right? You need sellers to buy, right? So 1,000 lot sells, 1,000 lot buys, you won't see them. They match and the smart money goes, thanks very much. I just took your stops and going back to highs. That is the type of trade that happens. That's when I say you've got to look for the traps. Now, I'm not buying down here when we do it because I'm not an institutional trader. But what I am doing is watching for their signature, something like that, when they absorb, turn inside and go. So let me just read, make sure that all makes sense to you. So a little lesson while we trade sideways there. So these stops are essentially where liquidity sits. Yes, exactly. So in a way, non-disciplined traders are what's moving the market. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not even necessarily always non-disciplined. It's just like it's stops that move the market. The only all right, think about this market. You know when you get, I'm going to go all the way up here. You know when you get markets that just do this all day, they're just so grindy, right? And it's really, really hard to buy this market because it just never pulls back. And then at some point, it normally does this. Maybe not that deep, right? The reason we are going higher here is because shorts go short and then they get blown out. Shorts go short and then they get blown out. And they go short again and they get short again and they get short again and they add to a loser and add to a loser and add to a loser and add to a loser. And then they finally get blown out and then we take and then the buyers chase and then we come all the way back down just to go back upside. You will see that move over and over and over again. It's because psychology dictates that people like to add to losers. And once we hit max pain, they're forced to cover. We normally get a big pop. Buyers might chase there aggressively, and then they get liquidated as well. Remember, the casino's job is to make sure no one wins, right? That's the casino's job. Market's a casino. Its job is to make sure no one wins. Our job is to be as disciplined as possible. How do we create discipline? We understand rules. If we can create rules, then we can stick to discipline. So today, yes, arguably I've missed out on some trades, but I'm sticking to my rules. The same when I called that short for you yesterday. I said it was likely to do that, but I have to stick to my rules. When I trade outside my rules, I get in problems. What are our rules currently? We are inside initial balance. What do we expect in initial balance? We expect liquidity to be built. We expect choppy price action. We expect a lack of trend. How can we get confluence in a day like this? We are trading inside a daily bar. What do we expect inside daily bar? Liquidity to be built, right? No breakout buys. There's no breakout buys long. No breakout buyers shorts because breakouts happen above previous day high, below previous day low. Now, what is the difference here in this chart compared to ES? ES currently has breakout buyers in the market. It took out previous day high, right? If those breakout buyers, if we trade back down, they're going to get stuck and forced to sell, all right? They're going to get stuck. The breakout buyers are going to get stuck and forced to sell. And we might want to fill this gap and drift higher. It can totally do that. It's not too far away from doing it. But that's the difference in just understanding price, understanding the rules of engagement. When you understand, just always think to yourself, 90% of the market is a breakout buyer. What's the first thing you learn before you learn to trade properly? Buy the breakout. Buy the breakout, right? Buy the breakout. It's the easiest trade in the book, they tell you. It's the trade where you get the most, right? It's where you get in trouble, right? No smart money is buying a breakout. No smart money is doing that. They've already accumulated long, all right? Smart money today accumulated down here. We wanted this. We're so disciplined. We wanted this, all right? You would have heard me talk about it. Peter talked about it in chat as well. We wanted that gap fill. We wanted the efficient market. That gives us a higher probability long trade. But smart money bought point of control, anchored VWAP off previous day low, because smart money that bought here, here's their average position size, and then they just added more into it, looking for that drift higher. All right, they are not buying up here. Look who got trapped up there. Retail bought the breakout. Oh dear, that hurt. All right, so just try and always think, who is in pain? Where is their pain point? Where is a breakout? Where is their pain point? If you can just keep thinking about that all the time, it will make trading way, way easier. Let me just read up. Sorry, guys, just catching up with the chat here. Cat, very helpful. Ryan, could I elaborate on why I don't get involved where the stops are and I wait? Yeah, so why I wouldn't just buy down here, you mean? All right, because we trade patterns, right? So this might come down here now and take them out. But what's to say it has to stop there? Nothing. If momentum's really heavy, you can just keep going. All right, so what I don't want to do is be a buyer here and start adding to a loser. What I want to do is let the market makers or let the institutions show me, hey, okay, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to take out all these stops. I'm going to buy it back. And then I'm going to turn and I'm going to put in a higher low here or some sort of signature for me to be like, okay, well, I can buy this higher low now because I know stupid shorts are trying to attack this. I can buy in here in a nice W pattern or something. All right, and I can take a partial here and I can look for these stops here and these stops here, and I can have my risk now set where the institutions want to protect it. All right, So I want to use the whales as like my what can I put this, as my support. Does that make sense? Yesterday's a good example. Go back to yesterday. Market's not moving too much. So let's go back to yesterday. All right, so what were the signatures here? Breakout shorts chased, right? They were stuck here. Yesterday, we got into here, and I was like, this is an early buy, but it's probably a good buy. You have tight risk. You can risk this, or you can risk this. At this point here, we start triggering a squeeze. So if you're long here or long here on this breakout, you can risk this low or this low or this. We have set risk recently to risk off. Yeah, we're not guessing the bottoms. It's already turned, all right? It's already turned, and we're joining it. We have an anchored view up. We have support. We have a flag. We have flow zones starting to come. So we join this. Boom, 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 boom. We're taking partials into here, probably some partials into here. I can't remember everything yesterday. Right, and then what are we waiting for? We're not buying this. We're waiting for a pullback. Where's the pullback? Where's old resistance? There's old resistance. Here's old resistance. All right, we're looking for an RBS level. Resistance becomes support. Where's the anchored view up? Here he is. Here's your flag. Did I buy this? No, I don't think I even bought that. I waited for it to prove it to me and drive higher. And then once it built something here, I can buy that, risking this. Okay, and look to take partial. And then I'm looking left. Where's the next stop level? Okay, here are the guys. Here's a stop level, and here's a stop level. All right, and then we're drifting into here, and I'm taking partials as we get into those levels. Yeah, so I'm waiting for the market to show me what it wants to do rather than guessing and hoping. Because the problem is, and this is old me, right? Old me, for example, let's say this is supply. Old me would be so intent and getting short up here that as we're going higher into this, I'm getting short and I'm getting short and I'm getting short and I'm getting short. And what happens? Well, everyone's doing the same as me and they get blown out and we get all the way up here and then I lose all my accounts and I cry like a little bitch at night and think, wow, why is the market so unfair? This is so ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. I shouldn't have got short, right? The short is here versus this. Yeah? So we have to take responsibility for our trades. We have to be responsible as traders for how we trade. All right. The moment you can be responsible, understand the market, and admit, hey, I've made a mistake there. I'm wrong. I did something wrong. All right. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're blowing up, you're doing something wrong. It's no one's fault but your own. That's not me having a dig. It is the difference between going from having like big days and big blowouts to being consistently trading well. And that includes taking losses. Trading well includes taking losses. And once you can get into that mindset of, all right, it's okay to take a loss. I stuck to my thesis. I had a go at the long. It made sense. It failed. I took the loss. Fine. If you are taking trades up here and gambling, that is your fault, right? And the quicker that you can just admit that and rectify that and be like, I made an error. I'm going to change how I trade. I'm going to create very key rules in how I trade. You are going to start succeeding so much quicker. And if you want to understand that, ask the guys in the room that are doing the course. I promise you, I have the same conversation with most of the people when they join. They start to learn it and they start to adapt how they trade. And it only takes 1-2%, tiny little adaptations, and it can change you from being unprofitable to profitable. Hopefully that helps. Let's go back through. Saradi P, geez, your interpretation of the market is surgical. It's just spending a lot of time on the charts. It just starts to come together. Let me have a look up here. Mike, basically all we have to do is the opposite of what everyone else is doing. That is literally it. That is literally it. There's a reason Top Step lose so often. So maybe an aha moment there for you, Jesse. Jesse saying, oh, I got it. Blake Fosland, work with the trend, never against it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Tyson. Tyson saying the content is gold. Blake saying, I agree with Tyson. I feel like I'm in a class right now. Tyson saying, buy the course. Yeah, buy the course. I go over this in extreme detail in the course. I think I understand. We want to be the ones taking the liquidity, not the ones getting squeezed. Yeah, I always say it. Take the liquidity or join the trend. Don't become the liquidity. Do I think we're setting up a mean reversion on the chart? On the daily, you mean? I mean, yes, it is possible, Crawford. It is possible. I did talk about this to my team this morning. It's possible we want to get towards this 5-day. Remember, this 5 days trending down. So it's possible we want to come and test this 5-day. If we get through the 5-day, we come for a mean reversion into the 20-day, and we've got expanding Bollinger Bands now. All right, but normally in a healthy trend, we come and do things like this. Test the 5-day, come down. Test the 5-day, react, go above the 5-day, go above the 20-day. All right, so we haven't been in a downtrending market for a while, so it's hard for me to show you the 5-day, but let me show you here. This is a good example. Just flip this, think about the opposite. 5-day, Bollinger Band. 5-day, Bollinger Band. 5-day, little dip below, Bollinger Band. 5-day, Bollinger Band, expansion and failure. 20-day, 5-day, and then we get mean reversion back down. So it's possible that we're going to print inside. It's possible tomorrow, if it really wants to come up here, it can come up here. And then we join that 5-day, and then what are we doing? We're looking for a lower high on the daily to come and take out all these guys. I'm giving away so much edge for free here. It's probably hurting the sales of my course right now, but there we go. Rather help you guys on stream. Saradi, where is the pain? Yeah, always about max pain. You're welcome. Arturo saying thank you very much. Same from Gary. Art Bow, one more day until you get to payout. Awesome work. Awesome work, Art Bow. Trend Trees 81. RBS. Resistance becomes support is RBS. And then support becomes resistance. This is a way I trade. It's a form of Malaysian SNR. Do I ever change my stop levels? What do you mean by that, Gary? Do you mean the size of the stop? Just let me know, and I'll go over that. See if I can find all these questions, guys. Chat moved fast then. Why do I have to go describe you? Oh, is that guessing the tops and bottoms? Hey, Willa, trust me, at the start of your journey, everyone does that. That habit died really hard with me. It was really, really hard to shift that habit. That's why I'm very color coordinated. Like if I have a color on a screen, it helps me. So I am not looking for longs when it's red. I'm looking for longs where we're blue and green. I also understand when we're inside, some of this sort of goes out the window. But in trend days, I will not look for longs when the flow zones are telling me we're upside. All right. Leo saying awesome analysis. Peter Curry saying, if your trading is not going well, the person you need to be speaking with is always in the mirror. Facts. Absolute facts from Peter. All right, that is so true. So easy. We will blame everyone all the time. I still catch myself doing it all the time now. Oh, why did he have to talk and ruin the market? Why were you in a position? Why didn't you have a stop better place? Why didn't, we have to look at ourselves all the time. Self-reflection all the time. Not just in trading, all the time. If you want to become a better person, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to have self-reflection. We're humans. We're going to make bad decisions. We're going to disappoint ourselves and other people. But if you can reflect on that, you will start improving. Leo, lol, why did he need to describe all of us on stream? I'm not crying, you're crying. Hey, like I said, I started out there as well. Blake Fossen, reviewing and journaling really shifted my understanding. It's helped me be more patient. Yeah, journaling is key. I've got about 3 journals packed there from the last few years. Tyson saying, me too, I'm mostly fixed now. Yeah, me and Tyson have talked about this many times. Most people get to the same point. They can read the chart. They can trade well. It's just, can they keep their discipline? Trading journey at 40s. Too many gems in this stream. I need to watch it again. Maybe I'll try and cut it up and do a little lesson. Here we go. So we're trying to expand higher now. We're trying to take out these stops. The liquidity has been built here. We're going to go for this. And if we can get through this, it's going to try and get up here. That's what it's going through. Oh, just slammed my desk. Sorry about that, team. Probably looked like an earthquake. BU says, the course is awesome. I'm working on disciplining myself out of bad habits. Yeah. Glenn Keogh, thanks, bud. I had a couple of small losses today, but lessons learned. I need to make 5 million tomorrow to afford my gold card. Yeah. Anyone see that? Trump has announced he's doing a gold card. So not just a green card. You can pay $5 million now to move to the US and have the equivalent of a green card, but it's called a gold card. So he's trying to attract rich people who want to come to the US. Calypso, I definitely have to buy your course. You've explained a lot of things better than where I've been learning futures. Well, look forward to working with you. PA is trying to break previous day high on ES. Yes, now above previous day high on ES. We're just stuck at that IB high. Remember, we can still have range rotation if we can get above this and hold. This is a possibility. We can also do a failed auction and a trade back down to view up and clean these up. We're still inside, all right? We're not in a trend day. We're in an inside bar, just to remind everyone. I watched a video in your course referring to RBS, and I finally found out what it meant. Yep. Okay, so here we go, Gary, answering the question. I mean, for example, you have a long and your stop loss is 25 points lower to protect your downside. Would you ever change it from 25 points to 35 points, or do you always stick to 25 points? I change it all the time. All right, so you need to be working out your size based on your stop loss, because, and we're starting to break now, a stop loss is absolutely pointless if it's not based on structure. And I'll show you what I mean. We know, if we know that liquidity is down here, all right, and like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a way of doing this. Let's say you're buying here and you have a 25-point stop. All right, so you buy this breakout, 53s, and your stop is 30s, would it be? Is that right math? 30s. Okay, it's here. That stop loss will not work. Right? It might work in this occasion, but from a technical standpoint, you're going to get liquidated because it's going to drive down and take all these guys. Just like we talked about liquidity, if this comes all the way down, it's going to take all these guys out. So that stop loss doesn't really work because you're not giving this trade a chance to work. You've got it too tight where it needs to be all the way down here. Now that might require a 50-point stop loss. So what does that mean? Either you don't take the trade, or you size down. You use like 1 or 2 micros to allow that breadth if you still think the drawn liquidity is up here. So that will depend if, for example, you're like, right, I'm long, I'm super confident we're getting up here, and I'm going to risk underneath these stop levels. It's still offering a 2R, but I'm going to size down to give it breadth. Speak to the people who trade with me and have asked me many, many times, well, if you're trading the 50K account, do you need to be trading minis? No, you can trade micros. 1, 2, 3 micros, more than enough in this market. Give your stops a chance to breathe, all right? Make sure they're in the right place. Hopefully that makes sense. Cap says the course is great and I encourage anyone to do it, but honestly, the course in conjunction with these impromptu lessons and commentary is key. Yeah, I totally agree. That's why we started going live, because I think those who started doing the course have been live like a year now. Once I started trading live in September, I think it really helped make sense for everyone. Okay, so what do we have here? Again, team, so far, failed breakout, failed auction. Buyers came in here. Did we hold and create bullish action? No. Where do we dip down to? RBS. There's your RBS. RBS. How do we know it's RBS? How many wicks are up here? We couldn't get through. We couldn't get through. We couldn't get through. We couldn't get through. Shorts there. We traded through. We come back down. If these shorts cover, this is what will allow it to go through. If we fail underneath RBS, then we start rotating. All right, it's the same thing. These shorts got blown out. If we come back and hold it, they get out break even. We can go back upside. Literally every single thing we've just talked about. All right. If we fail this level, all right, if we fail this level, God, let me draw it, please. Am I on the right chart? If we fail this level, right, these shorts will become in the money. And if we fail this, right, then we get this kind of look. And where are all the stops? We can aim for all this liquidity, all this liquidity, all this liquidity here. And if it really wants to, we can come all the way down and close this gap. All right, remember, we're trading inside right now. Range rotation is probable until it proves otherwise. But right now, it's held this RBS. It has potential to trade upside. It will need to auction above this and cut into these levels here. And it would need ES to start participating. And it would need Tesla and Apple to stop selling off. Apple 2% down now. Tesla 1.6% down. Nvidia having a day, almost 5% up. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was like 8 or 9% down. Might have been the day before. No worries, Gary. Absolutely welcome. I tell you what you can all do, though, as I've just given, I feel like that is, I've given you a decent free lesson on here. And there's 111 of you have been watching that free lesson. You can all hammer the like button for me, and you can post this live stream on your socials and tell people to watch it if they want to understand how to trade. That's what you can do to help me back. It doesn't cost you anything, but it will help me. Have a great day, Peter. Have a great day. So starting to expand, held that RBS. Where does it want to go? Remember, we got a higher time frame algo here, and then all the way up here, previous day high, if it can get up there. We are starting to fill this H1, right? We're coming wick to wick on the H1. Look at the bar from Tuesday at 8 a.m. We're starting to go, or we've gone wick to wick into it. If we get through that, there are a lot of stops we can aim to abuse, right? Where is the max pain for shorts from yesterday? Here is their pain, all right? Hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 hours of people adding short positions here. What do you think happens if we get through here? They cover. Where do you think we go? Little rocket ship upside. But we don't want to buy that cover. We want to buy early before we get there if we can. Like I said today, I had a feeling that buy I took, which was, I forget where it was now. I think it was like here, and I said I should probably just hold this runner all day. I've got a feeling it would do it. That might have been the buy of the day. So I think my first initial position today was this here, and I was saying I should probably just hold this all day. That might be the one that pays me. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Again, we're inside bars. We've repriced that H1. Remember, we've now repriced that H1 bar. It's trying to hold above the initial balance now. If it can sustain bids above the initial balance, it has a chance to go for that previous day high. I am the only trader I know. I liked and subbed. Oh, I appreciate that. Exploit the vibe. That's a cool name. Why don't people just hit the like button when they first hop on live stream? Well, they might be new. They might not know about me or anything. Who knows? I take the occasional flyer to catch a top or bottom. There are things I look for. I don't randomly take it, but if I'm up, I take a portion of it. I view it as a risk capital. That's all right. Like, if you're playing with house money, if you have strict rules, it sounds like you've got some rules there. Look what you're saying. I take an occasional flyer to catch a top or bottom. There are things I look for. Those things you look for must be indications and rules, right? So maybe you're looking for blowout volume. Maybe you're looking for a transition in the tape where you see the tape, if we're running really high, go green and then slam with red on the tape. I mean, loads of things you're looking for. If you've got rules, that's fine. It's just the hardest trade in the book to take. Can be the best RR if you get it right, though. Well, I would say like the buy was probably just here then, and this here. I'm just going to let this build out a bit because ES is not like showing me much of a willingness, and I know we've got this higher time frame algo here. All right, I think I'm the only trader that uses this, but this level here becomes a little bit key for me as we do a dance between this blue line and red line. The pro trend is better when everything gets above this red line, and I don't think that would happen today. It would maybe happen tomorrow if we go on a giant squeeze today. A lot of it's going to depend on Nvidia. Google now going red as well, so there's just as much chance of a failed auction here, especially when we're looking at the H1. H1 has done the damage. All right, remember the buys today where we could have bought this morning and we were thinking about it. We wanted to gap fill a little bit lower, but the buys today are here to here. We're now buying very high to try and get up here. Doesn't mean it doesn't do it. It might well go for it. But we've built out a fair amount of liquidity. I guess these guys got liquidated by this. This is your RBS level. I'm just going to wait. Honestly, I've made some money. I've missed a little bit of key action. Today's an inside bar. I'm just going to wait for something super clear and obvious. I'd imagine a lot of traders got smacked around today trying to force stuff. I still think there's a chance for expansion here all the way back up if it really wants to go, but it's got to prove itself to me. It has to prove itself. SMT at previous day high. Yeah. It's been SMT for a while there, so divergence at previous day high. Yeah. But ES is above it, and it's holding above IB high right now. Look at the VIX. VIX still drifting down, 1780s right now. So it can come all the way down. It's coming into a little demand zone. But if it starts snapping 1730s, then this thing goes on a squeezer in the market. But VIX would need to snap 1730s. In fact, I might put a little alert on that for me later in the day. VIX definitely in a nice downtrend here. Liquidity on the book a little bit thinner today. Let's have a look. Still, there's a 229 lot at 21k. Long way away. I don't see anything to the upside. That's no big numbers anyway. There's no like 1,000 lot, or 100 lot, or 200 lot even up there. We're just in a little bit of a squeeze higher here. Higher time frame algo, keep getting stuck there for now. What's tricky is the way that we're building liquidity today. Remember, if we're bulls, we don't want to build liquidity this way. We want liquidity to be built this way. Even this was a little bit tricky. This would have been better if it was built something like this, so we could think about this better. But it was a flat top. This was a little bit better, but this, not really. There's strong channels up, which can get snapped just as easily. And remember, we got Fed talk at top of the hour, I believe. Let me just check. I did post it in the Discord this morning. Yes, Bostic at midday. So just be aware of that. Still holding, still looking like it's drifting higher right now. I'm not looking for shorts, that's for sure. Nothing in this saying that it's going to roll over yet. If we start failing inside the initial balance and start making lower lows and lower highs, then possibly a rotational play with a failed auction. But so far, it's looking very, very bullish. But it's really becoming a little hard to get involved in this. New highs there again. There was a seller at 462. He's just left the tape. We've fully repriced that H1 bar now. So the only level it can really go for now is that 352 up here, previous day high. It's the only real liquidity left on the book for it to sort of run for, if it's going to run. So less trading for me today, more lessons for you guys. Hopefully you guys don't mind. We've still got some nice trades. Some of you might still be in this long for all I know. I have no idea. Maybe some of you are still in this long. If you can bear with me, time for a refill of my coffee and I'll be right back. All right, struggling at that higher time frame algo line, right, at that liquidity building level. do not want to buy into that level. We are holding flow zones. We are still above that IB high. There's still a draw of liquidity higher if it really wants to get there. At some point, there is a chance for this hourly to make a lower high. All right, and we're getting close to those levels. So my opportunity to buy it was much lower this morning. I fluffed it a little bit. That's okay. Nice, Ryan. Ryan's still in it, long. So some sweep of liquidity here. Remember we said we don't like buying it when we see this. All right, this is primed for these guys to get swept. It needs to hold these levels and these levels. If we start getting stuck under here, this is where I'd be worried about a rotation short. Now again, discipline, not buying the highs. Notice how it could not get a close above that higher time frame algo. So those who have the flow zones, oh, sorry, Array, God, you're so good with that. Why do I miss it all the time? Could not get a close above higher time frame algos. If we can hold this zone here, it can remain bullish. All right, this is your RBS level. This is your IB. If it can hold this and do this, maybe we get that move later. But if we start failing, remember, you don't buy this because it's going straight up. If we start failing under here, I'd be very cautious about this deeper move. Most eyes are on Nvidia. That's what's driving this market. Apple 2% down. Tesla 1.22% down. Google is flat. Nvidia almost 5% up. Meta 3.3% up. Amazon just under 2% up. And Microsoft 1.32% up. Yeah, I understand, Ryan. Very common. I can often do the same, especially if I'm up big. I move my stops pretty close. So a hold of IB high. VIX still breaking down. Because it's a volatility hedge. Yeah, so the VIX should be moving the opposite. If the VIX is moving the same way, that's where you've got divergence. So when VIX is driving up and market's driving up, that's where I don't like buying the market. It's trying to build out a little bit of liquidity here. Hard thing for me is like the low-hanging fruit trade's gone. You know what I'm like, those who turn up to stream every day, I like trading for that low-hanging fruit trade. That low-hanging fruit trade was the hourly highs here. All right, and now we've filled the imbalance. So if this can continue to squeeze, it would go up. If this reaccumulates, this would be the next trade. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's low-hanging fruit. It's just the next level it could go to. Like I said, if this starts to break down, I'm still not touching this because low-hanging fruit's gone. If this starts to break down, it can try and clean these guys up. If it can hold, it can try and go up here. It's 50-50 right now what it's going to do. Nothing saying downside yet. I mean, that is a sweep of these. If you get a big closure, we can think about more. Still bullish 5 minute and 15 minutes so far. Remember that M1 will flip before anything else. M15 holding that old high so far. This old high on the M15. M15 still wants to drive higher. M1 shaping up like it could flip. But we ignore the M1 and we think higher until proves otherwise. If we start breaking down under here, then I'm more inclined to think about short. All the time above IB high, I'm not thinking about a short. Right? That's a basic principle and rule. All the time we're above the IB high, I'm not thinking about that short. Yeah, Phenom is exactly what it's doing. It's building liquidity. It's spending a decent amount of time up here. It's because the main objective's been achieved. Remember, we took out these hourly highs that we talked about. We've repriced this. So the only thing left it can do is come for these levels here. All right. Otherwise, it's just going to trade back inside the range. Because remember, here to here is an inside bar. This is still an inside bar. All right. So if we think about a daily, let's think about where we are on a daily. We're above golden pocket now. And if we go from what was the week's Monday's high, let's think about the weekly. We're right into we tagged 50% of the week. So we've retraced from Monday's open. We've retraced 50%. All right. So somewhere in here, we're expecting a lower high to be created to come back down lower. It might need to come up a little bit further, but time will tell. I'm starting to let go a little bit here. So back to that old RBS level. If it starts producing lower lows and lower highs, we can go for rotation. Remember, this has a chance to be failed auction. If it starts producing lower lows and lower highs, it can go for rotation. Clean these guys out and clean these guys out. It is possible. Very, very early still. Like I said, nothing has flipped yet on the M5 or M15, but that M1 was starting to turn. Like I said, that will always be the first one, but it can also give you a lot of fake outs. ES back to previous day high, tagged previous day high here. Florida, JD Florida man, I'd love to see a test of VWAP. Yeah, be a good drive down if you're thinking short, or even if you're thinking to scoop. I'd rather it cleans out those lows if I was thinking to scoop it. Steve C, terrible PA today. Going to head out. See you tomorrow. Yeah, so Steve, it sounds like you like trading trend days. So just remember, when we're just a good one for you, when you can see we're having an inside day after a big trend down, those might be days for you to avoid or size down. That might be a key for you. Blake says, today my task was beginning the process of eliminating my unprofitable tendencies. Yeah, that's all you've got to do. That is all you've got to do. If you can take positive trades, right, where so many people go wrong, you could just take one type of trade, right? It could be initial balance rotation trade. It could be a trend trade. It could be a pro trend trade. It could be, if you really want it to be, it could be a reversal type trade, right? If you can take one good trade that you master that setup, all you've then got to do is ignore everything else. You don't need to be able to take every single type of setup. Alex, direct me to the right video you mentioned yesterday. I can't remember, but the one you all in chat agree was a good video to watch. Was it the initial balance? It might. A lot of people found me from the initial balance one. It might be that. Hang on. I will try and find it for you. Should be. Oh God, I don't want to type that whole thing in. Should be that one. Trading journey. How long have I been... Where's that gone? How long have I been trading for? Well, full time, like 5 or 6 years, but I was more like swing trading for many, many, many years. Almost did this as a full-time job, but I was lucky enough to become a DJ and music artist for a number of years, which was good fun, and then returned to this once I was done. The worst is blowing accounts because you don't take profits, and when it goes in your favor right away. Greed, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That will be oversizing. If you're oversized and you get like a big spike up on something like Apex where it has trailing drawdown and you don't take profits, it comes back down break even and you blow up. So if you size down, that will never happen. Think about it. If you size down, if you're using 1 micro and it swipes 100 points, it's $200. Doesn't matter if that comes back down. But if you're using 1 mini on a 50K account and that swipes 100 points and comes back down to break even, like on a CPI day or a FOMC day, that's $2,000. That's most of your drawdown gone. Calypso, I do think it's easier to focus. This is starting to break down, but it's just coming back to that RBS level. Remember, this is the key level right now. I know this is, and we're starting to roll, but this is where shorts became buys in the market. So I'm still not thinking about this as a short yet until we start to really break down and show me that it's a willingness to go lower. I'm also very, very aware about the time. Do I think it's easier to focus on just one ticker versus a few? I mean, it's a good question. It's a hard question, that. Yes, I do. Every single ticket has its own personality. So like NQ, what does NQ like to do? NQ likes to really raid liquidity, all right? If it goes to do a stop run, it can run that stop by 100 points easy. So you have to understand that when you're trading NQ. You have to learn that personality. ES doesn't like to do that. ES trades really, really concise, all right? It can give you sometimes much better technical trades because it doesn't wash a stop by 20, 30 points. It takes it by 1 or 2 points and then turns around. So understanding the personality can help. However, right, if you're going to focus on one ticker, which is what I do, you will miss opportunities. Right? There will be days where there's a nice trend trade setting up in RTY or a nice trend trade in gold or oil that you miss because you're so focused on one. So you just have to understand, like, you're not going to get everything, and it's okay with having, like me today, smaller days because you're missing some opportunities maybe on the other charts. I mean, I haven't looked today, but there's probably some good opportunities on some other charts. Like gold today offered a nice long backup, a really clear inverse head and shoulders and pivot. All right, so if we go to gold here, look how clean gold is. All right, so if I was a gold trader today, right, this is a buying opportunity, isn't it? Breakout, pullback, retest, hold flow zones, and we drift higher and take out liquidity. Really clean, easy trade. All right, so if you're scanning across charts, maybe you can find some easier trades sometimes, but you're going to have to learn all those personalities. You're going to have to adjust your stop for each chart and remember the key levels. The nice thing about trading one chart is I know the key levels. I can remember coming to the chart the next day. Okay, what's an important level that I'm looking at? It's all drawn out and mapped. Otherwise, I've got to look at numerous levels again, which is what I used to do when I was trading small caps. And that's one of the main reasons I left trading small cap and large caps. You were having to watch so many key levels all the time. It just got fatiguing. I have my scanner on every day telling me what's moving in the market. So yeah, that's totally up to you. It's a personality thing. I think I would struggle to focus on too many of them at once. Okay, so we're starting to break down here. ES is trying to go upside. Back to the RBS level here. All right, so big levels coming up. So right back into this pool. Remember, this is the pool of liquidity. This is where shorts became buyers. We've traded back into that. Do they get break even and we trade back up? We had one go here. Do we do it again here to go back up? If we start failing this, then the rotation becomes more probable. ES, though, is up here. ES just found a bid and drove all the way up. So looking a little different across the charts. We're back to that deep pullback flow zone right now. Do they set in a lower high here for a wash back down? That's what I'm looking to see if they're going to do. It can still absorb here and go all the way back up to highs if it wants to. Remember, this is an RBS level. We're at the deep pullback flow zones. That would be a fib. Yes, that last push through failed the initial balance. VIX starting to turn upside, reclaiming its IBL. So there's potential here if VIX can get going for a short trade back down towards clean out all these levels, all these liquidity down into these guys. Maybe here if we got really lucky. You would need to see it do something like that. Complete mixed bag now, looking across the board. Tesla 1.12% down. Google 0.15% down. Apple 2% down. Nvidia 4.35% up. And Meta 3.15% up. Amazon 1.72% up. Microsoft 1.2% up. So like it is a mixed board across them. Remember, the big drivers today will be Nvidia. That is what everyone's looking for. You also have news in half an hour. Me too. That's why I'm trading futures and prop firms. You mean why you're focused on one ticker? Is that what you meant there? Exploit the vibe. Five-minute, still bullish here from a technical standpoint. 15 minutes, still bullish here from a technical standpoint. Still holding an RBS level for now. Still holding these flow zones. If we get trapped here, it has the chance to do something like this, right? If we reclaim it, it can go all the way back up. Oh, yeah, stopped trading mid and large caps, yeah. Yeah, just too much to look at, I understand. ES back under previous day high. It's a little bit sloppy here in general as we just start to build out liquidity. It's tricky because those hourly levels are there to get hit. But if the market wants to save it for later or tomorrow, it definitely can, and it can put in a deeper fade. So it is tricky. ES trying to reclaim previous day high here. I'm just watching across right now. SPY back at its 50-day. We have big divergence in how we're sort of operating here. VIX failing its IB low there. So it drifted into IB low and failed. That's not a good look. So that RBS holding up so far. So we may be, maybe setting up for some kind of move up here if it can get going, if it starts to reclaim this. And equally, it's messy up here. Equally can still do this. But we are bullish because we've held this level. We're bearish if we get under that level. Until we're under that level, not really thinking about a big move lower. Yeah, same. Exploit the vibe. I mean, I will invest long term in ETFs. I don't even touch singular companies right now. I don't think there's any point. No, I think they need a bit of a cool off. I think there's going to be some amazing opportunities this year, though. If we can get a big old flush out in the market, I think there's some good long term opportunities. I get so much spam on my YouTube now from like these crypto wallets or whatever they are. Every single day posting something. All right, so do they set a lower high or do they just let this through? Those deep pullback flow zones holding. Yes, starting to really drive here. It's amazing how quickly that turned. All the way back down to its high time frame algo, and it found a bid there, and now we're driving up to our high time frame algo. So divergence in terms of positioning on the charts. So back to the IB high here on the ES. Got some G20 summit news. Don't know what's going on there. So M5, M15 remaining bullish here. H1 still expanding. It's still got those highs to go for if it wants. We are getting pretty close to lunch. So I don't know, maybe it drives up to take them for lunch. Maybe we just go sideways for a while. A little bit ugly here in the look of it all, to be honest. What is this that keeps hitting my wire? Bank of England. Weird. All right, if we're going to expand, we're going up here. All right, if we're holding this, we're going up here. It is ugly right now. This the divergence is kind of ugly. Just in position versus IB is kind of ugly. But we didn't, like I said, I'm not thinking about short unless we fail underneath like this, which we didn't. We never set a lower high. We just set a flag and a go, and it's trying to go all the way up right now, trying to clear out all that liquidity. Does it go boom? That's the question. Does it go boom for those highs? Did we even take it there? Didn't quite take it. Slower day. Makes me think I should have bought that dip into the RBS for that turnaround. Back to that higher time frame algo. Starting to squeeze a little. Are you going to clear out and go, or are you just going to fail? God, that's terrible. Just a tiny little wick out and trade back inside. This is getting more and more ugly by the minute. So maybe a pullback in now towards 80s. What's on the tape? Not much on the tape. ES getting stuck at that IB high. So it traded through it and got stuck. This is what I mean, the divergence here. ES is setting up that potential head and shoulder look, which is not how the Qs are looking. Look at that wash back. Back to the IB high. This is like really, it's what's happening right now is it's struggling for liquidity. So it's going to have to trap and trap and trap and trap. And I don't have a particular big edge on where I think it's going. Like it can go back to those old highs on the hourlies, but it's not showing a willingness to get there. And the ES is not really helping it out here, getting stuck at that IB high with that kind of head and shoulder look. What's this hourly doing? Trying to see. This is strong selling coming here, volume-wise. What are we doing? Going back for those lows. Divergence on the tape here. ES looking very weak here, coming back towards those lows. Does it protect this RBS level again, or does it start failing under here now? That's what I'm saying. Like the ES looks like the head and shoulder versus the IB high. That's the big difference here. The next drive up fail. Gosh. I need some water. If the next drive up fails on the cues, then I'd expect lower prices. If the next bounce fails. Oh, something in my throat. Sorry, team. So same RBS level. If this next drive up fails in here, then I would expect the market to try and push lower prices. Oh, I don't know what happened there. But just building a range up here. Still no shift on like an M5 or an M15. Left liquidity both sides, that's the problem. Keeps leaving liquidity both sides right now. Oh, gosh. Sharp. Thing is, whatever I ate had some nuts in it. Scratched the back of my throat there. What are you doing, market? Are you going for previous day highs, or are you going to go and sweep the liquidity low first? Like, I have no flipping idea. I don't think you know either, Mr. Market. I think you are equally as confused right now. So we've left stops up here, and we've left stops here, and here, and here. And then external stops up here. Messy delivery. Why would we know it's messy delivery? Inside bar. Inside bar. Right at the beginning of today, I said, expect choppy action. Gee. Expect choppy action today. We have an inside bar. It is absolutely expected. This push-up fails, there is chance for a lower price. That's the one thing I would say. If we're going to go and sweep, at this point, if we make a new high on session, then we're going to go for those previous day highs if we make a new high on this session. Book's starting to thin out a bit here as we come towards the news. 15 minutes until I call it a day, team. Getting close. Nice, Alan. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. So Trump cabinet meeting. Trump now talking. Or sign an agreement on rare earth and other things. So Trump now talking. That's why I didn't even have that scheduled. So that's just hit the wire. And the book's starting to thin out very, very quickly here. So just be aware of that. You know, anything can happen when he talks. We have liquidity both sides at this market. can aim for. External liquidity at the previous day high, this red line up here. Internal liquidity from all these stocks we built out throughout the day. You have divergence here in that ES is at or under initial balance high and is balanced right now at previous day high, having already taken it. We are not on the rest of the market. We're not on the NQs. We're not there. So just doing a dance here. It does not know what it wants to do. God, whatever that was in my throat has scratched it. We're still holding this RBS level, all right? Buyers are still in control versus this level right now. Under here will be a short potential for just a counter trend. Well, counter trend on the day, pro trend overall for a wash down to here. All right, those are the possibilities right now. Otherwise, it has that previous day high as a target for the NQ. Remember, ES has already taken that target. Expect chop today. Look at the daily bar. Expect chop today. Yes, or SPY right on its 50-day here. Watching to see if the VIX is actually going to reclaim this IBL. This is its third attempt on an M5. Still hasn't got a close inside on the VIX. Lots of news suddenly hitting my wire. There hasn't been much all day, and suddenly it's non-stop. Japan top FX diplomat. Trump, we're going to make a deal with Ukraine and Russia, right? You're just saying the same stuff you've been saying for weeks. Ten minutes until lunch. No bias here, team. I've got no bias. Short term, we're drifting higher. All right, lower time frame versus this, we're drifting higher. We have stops here. They take these out. They're going to try and get to here. If we start failing under here, you get a rotation to clean this up. You're in an inside bar. It's a choppy market. We're building liquidity. Yeah, right. Trump, inflation is starting to stop, is it? Yeah. We must get the price of eggs and other things down. Oh, this guy says some funny stuff. Could have fooled me. I don't see inflation slowing down. Could have fooled me, mate. All right, they're starting to add liquidity higher here. 400, 412, 425, 450. Market's basically gone to sleep right now while it builds out liquidity. We're looking to get Doge to cut $1 trillion. Starting to look like it wants to reprice here. VIX cannot get through that IBL. It keeps rejecting the IBL here. It's had no close through it yet. Why is that on my screen? There we go. So every 5-minute bar keeps coming up to it, can't get a close through it, and the market's starting to drift higher now because of that. ES reclaiming previous day high, coming back up towards IBH. They let this through, then previous day high will be the target. Building so much liquidity at the highs here, it's just a little bit ugly. It is a bit ugly here. Oh, boring, man. Kind of expect this to just come all the way up here now and use this, but this is not very pretty to get there. The fact that ES has already done it is a bit nothingy. And the fact that you got a mixed bag on Mag 7, like Apple still 1.5% down, Tesla just under 1% down, Google a third of a percent down. Look at that, like a triple top now. This is like really shite, really choppy shite action. Nothing here for me to really want to trade this. I'd love to see it like just go and raid a liquidity level so that it can set up another trade later in the day. But at the moment, it's giving me no indication that it's actually got the ability to do that. I would prefer to see this go and take out previous day high. That would be a good trade if it can go and take out previous day high, because it's not so much that they're long from here to there. It's more that what that opens up in the following sessions. Hopefully that makes sense. Come on, go and go through 406 and then just drive then. Musk now talking. Wants to do it. Is that a new high of day? Just about. It's just every time we pop up, it cannot like go. I've got no confidence right now. I'm pulling that trigger. It can just clear out and come back down and clear out and come back down and rinse, repeat and rinse, repeat and rinse, repeat, especially when Trump and Musk talking. I'd like to see this go all the way up to previous day highs. What I would like to see happen, but it's not being willing to do it so far. Like, look at how pathetic that push is and pull. And this same push and pull is building liquidity here. There you go again. Like, just it's unwilling to do the move up to here. And ES again stuck underneath IB high. So ES traded here again and starting to fail. Like, this is the problem. We have major divergence right now. So if you're looking for a big trend trade, it's not going to offer it for you right now. The ES going to try and back test maybe previous day high again. There's so much liquidity being built here, especially on the ES, right? Look at this. Failure to take the high, lower high, lower high, higher low, higher low. This is nasty in here. This is nasty. There you go. Reload. Same levels playing out here, so it can't be too bearish yet. M5, M15 still holding up. You cannot be too bearish yet in this. We still have not taken previous day high. There's still external liquidity to aim for. We've still not necessarily broken down. You don't know if dips get absorbed here and a run back up. Like, it's just a little bit tricky. There's definitely 3 attempts towards those highs there without breaking or without breaking out. A ton of short stops now up there, I would say, but we can still raid lower. There's lots of bull stops down below. ES starting to sell here. Underneath previous day high now on the ES. Volume starting to step in on the tape here. Buyers sitting at 350 or just in front. And then the next level down for that gets a bit thin down to 300. Let me just check the VRPR. There's session volume. 320s really. Plenty of room. So do we go and clean up some stops here? It's possible. They're going to absorb again. Wouldn't feel good if I was a bull in this. With just like tiny sweeps. And you're opening up this move to raid this. Might even take a stab at this if it starts washing. Come on. Gonna take out 50s. He's still on the tape at 50s. Tiny size, expected to take it. Come on, you got to sweep that liquidity. The minimum, you've got to come and sweep 47s at the absolute minimum. And then really, are you going to die through the RBS? Let's try. It still can't even sweep it. Come on. Yes, might want VWAP here. Watching SPY into previous day high. Remember, there's divergence between the ETFs and the futures today. There we go. There's the sweep. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so covering a bit here, holding runners now. Need this RBS really to just return into resistance, basically. We've swept this. This was the level I was talking about. We're back into this pool of liquidity that we made earlier, so hence the cover there. If the next push-up fails, then we can start coming down here. If they reclaim this, then all we've done is sweep liquidity to go and raid this liquidity later. All right, so a bit like the lesson we talked about earlier in the day. ES getting very close to VWAP now, as is SPY. SPY right on previous day high. So again, divergence on the tape. We talked about it earlier. We have divergence on the tape between the ETFs and the futures. Just be aware of that. You have Musk and Trump talking right now. Still in a runner here. Looking to see if we can get down to VWAP. Would be nice. ES at VWAP right now. ES bouncing off VWAP. SPY at VWAP. NQ not near it. Didn't get near it on the NQ or the QQQ. Holding sort of that RBS-ish level. So caution here in case they bid this all the way back up off VWAP back to highs. Nice, Mr. Slim. Still just watching this. we push and fail here, I'm interested, but what I'm going to be very careful of is we left that triple top. I don't like that. Nice drive here on the VIX. Really nice drive. Big volume exchange down there. Look at the volume on those lower wicks. There's big volume exchange down there when we ran the stops. Right, there's the volume exchange underneath here. If we take this out, these guys get liquidated and we go down, but big volume is exchanged on those stops. So if this starts trading upside, be very, very cautious because this is not nice what it's done up there. Again, the ES, the better trader today. Look at the ES, the head and shoulder pattern, the failure of the IB high, the failure after taking out previous day high. It's a much cleaner, better trader today. The NQ is flipping ugly in how it looks today. It's been a harder trader. If you caught that short with me, you've done very, very well. Same if you caught those longs earlier, you've done very well. But this is not a clean trader today, by comparison, I mean. Trump's still talking here, folks, and you've got more news coming at the top of the hour. How long we got? Oh, it's been top of the hour. Oh, I didn't even realize I'm into lunch. He's already into lunch and he didn't realize. All right then, folks. I think we did the best we could do there today. There's not much else we could do. So I am going to sign off there. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoyed the lesson today. If I can, I might cut it up and put it on YouTube. Maybe it'd be a bit helpful. Trade safe. Remember, we're into lunch. We're in a liquidity building day. We're still in an inside bar. Be sensible. Don't do anything stupid. And I'll be back same time tomorrow. And let's have a good backside of the week. Peace and love. Use hard stops. You know the score. See you later.